So in this video, I'm going to explain how Dynamics 365 for sales can support the whole sales process right through from lead to opportunity to quotation to order to invoice. I'm going to do that because I think a lot of people don't know that functionality exists in its entirety, and it's something that you might find useful in your organization. So let's go into the system. I'll show you what I mean. I'll walk through this sales cycle end to end, just going through these various elements. So we'll start at leads. And now, as a reminder, a lead, just because you get a business lead doesn't mean you need to set up a lead record. Leads is kind of a holding area for typically things like sign-ups for landing pages or your contact us page, and you want to push into that holding area, review it, add to it before you commit it to your CRM system. But let's show starting off with a lead. So I'm in the leads area at the moment. I'm just going to go to the new button. It's going to give me the leads dialog, and I'm just going to quickly put in some very basic dummy data rather quickly because my typing's pretty slow. Let's put BBBB and company. Let's call that new one. So I'll just put some very scant lead details in there. I'm just going to save that, save and close that. Just let that save. And we'll just open that up. That's one I've just created. Now, that's my lead record. Now, obviously, typically you're going to sort of review that, add to it. But then typically you're going to either disqualify it or qualify it. So when I click on qualify, it's going to come up with the qualification dialog. It's telling me this may already exist. Let's just ignore that. Right, so it's going to say going to create a new account, new organization, which is the new one which I created. It's going to create a new contact, which is Rich BBBB, and it's going to create a new opportunity, which we're going to call Lead-To-Invoice. When I click on qualify, it's going to go off and create all three of those. So we'll just give that a moment to generate. While that is generating, just one thing to say: if you are using Dynamics and you don't feel you're quite getting as much out of it as you should do, then feel very free to reach out. We're very happy to give advice on next steps and general guidance. Always happy to have a chat with people about their particular situation. Please check out the links below for that. Anyway, we've now qualified this, and it has now created an account, organization, record, contact, and opportunity. So I just click on that. I'm going to get a lovely dialog from Microsoft requesting my feedback, which I don't want to give them at this particular moment in time. And our lead has now turned into an opportunity record. So there we go. That's what we've done as our first step. Now, what I can do that a lot of people don't do is I've got a products tab on my opportunity record, and within the back end of the system I can maintain a catalog of products that we as an organization sell or services that we sell. So if I wish to, I can add products against my opportunity record, which is what I'm going to do here. So first thing I need to do is specify a price list. So not only can I manage products within the system, I can also manage price lists and have a variety of different price lists in there. And I've got one here called RB test price list. I'm just going to save that for a moment. And then I've got an area here called add product. So if I add a product to this, and I have the option to select an existing product, and it's going to pull from that price list, which I've set up with a widget 1, a widget 2, and a widget bag, oddly. Let's select widget 1. It's come back with the price of that on the price list maintained within the system. I've got a quantity default of 1, but I'm going to make that 100. And if I save and close it, I'm going to add that product to my opportunity record. And I can add multiple products and services to that. I don't have to have it in a product catalog. I can also do write-in products as well if I wanted to. But in the interest of brevity, I'm not going to add any more than I've done already. So I've got my opportunity record, but I've got individual products associated with it. It's well worth doing this, to my mind at least, because it's certainly in terms of opportunity management, it gives you a lot better detail with which to manage those opportunities and evaluate them. So let's move on to the next stage. We've got opportunities, but for an opportunity, we might have one or many quotations associated with it. So this system gives us the ability to track quotations back against this opportunity record. And so if I want to create don't worry about these costs and margins, that's just something I was experimenting with a little bit, but so that bit is not quite out of the box. Everything else is. So if I want to do a new quote, I just click on the new quote button. It's going to bring across by default the products that were on that opportunity. You can see it there, that widget 1, but I can edit that. I can add other products to it. It's bringing across the amount that we're quoting for. Again, we can mend all that. But if I want to save this, I can do so. And then if I wish to, if I'm happy with this quotation, I can activate the quotation. So let's click on that, and my quote is now activated. And once it's activated, it's finalized. It's no longer editable. So that's now set up. So I've now gone from lead to opportunity. I've added some products to that opportunity. I've created a quotation for it. Now, let's say client says, well, by the way, I can export that to Excel. So, export as a PDF. So I can create my quotation documentation that I'm going to send out to the customer. It's just sort of loading that up. Give that a second or two. There we go. So I'm not going to go into that, but you can set up your quote templates within the system. So we can send out the quotation documentation from CRM. Now, let's say the client decides that they want to go ahead. I can actually create an order record based on this quotation. So if I click on create order, so taking me through a create order dialog, I've won it. When do we win it? Do I want to add a description? Do I want to close the opportunity that's associated with it? Do I want to calculate the actual revenue from the quotation? So I'm going to go yes, yes, yes with all of those. So I've now created an order record. We're about to create the order record. So it says the order is successfully created. So now you can see in the top left-hand part of the screen, it's now an order. So we've gone through from quote converted to order. And if I want to, I can mark this order as fulfilled. And if I want to, I can create an invoice for it. So if I click on this, we can create the invoice for the order. Potentially we might have multiple invoices for that order. And if I want to save that record, I've then got the ability to mark that invoice as paid. So you can see with this, we can go end to end. By the way, in terms of the order area, I mean, this is all highly configurable. Now, there's a lot of things you can do in terms of managing order fulfillment, for example. So, just because we sold something, that's not the whole story. We've now got to get it to the customer and have a happy customer. And there's often quite a lot of work that gets involved in effectively fulfilling that order for a client. And you can manage that all within the system, within that sort of orders area, configure the system to help support that process. So I say not a lot of people necessarily know this capability is there. And there's all sorts of potential advantages to using some of these features. Great fan, as I say, of using products against opportunities. A great fan of tracking quotations. It's really important to see what we've actually sent out to clients. As I've touched on earlier, that whole fulfillment process is something that you can great operational efficiencies. A lot of order fulfillment is done outside of the system, often sort of, a collection of spreadsheets. It doesn't necessarily work terribly well. And by bringing this into the system, you can create all sorts of operational efficiencies and, hopefully improve the customer experience just by it being slicker, quicker. But generally, by using these capabilities, you actually bring more of the sales cycle into that central area and give you the ability to control that from a single system and create a sort of wealth of management information with that data. So I think it's quite a powerful capability. You don't need to use every element of this full cycle, but there may be more elements than you're using at the moment that might have significant benefit for your organization. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into that end-to-end process from lead through to invoice. It's one in quite a number of videos that we've done on Dynamics 365 for sales, so feel free to check out the channel. Also, if you've got suggested content ideas, see the links below. And as I said before, if you want any help with Microsoft Dynamics, feel very free to reach out. There's a link for that below as well. Anyway, thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully see you again soon.